everyone, and welcome to HR from Happy Valley. I'm reporting to you from Radio SHM at Penn State. Our group is Alrighty Roos, and we are so excited to present to you today our podcast. We've been working on this all semester, and we can't wait for you guys to listen what we put together. So today we are going to discuss three different segments, which include the Here's the News portion, the Hot Topics portion, and then the real world perspective to conclude the podcast. And to introduce myself a little bit, my name is Samantha Comito, and I am a junior majoring in hospitality management. And for the first segment of this podcast, I'm going to be speaking to you from the Here's Something Important desk, and you'll hear about that in a little bit. And the reason that I chose to speak from this desk is because I feel that most HR issues do tend to be really important in the workplace, as you'll kind of get to see throughout this newscast. And Ryan, do you want to continue?
Of course, Sammy. My name is Ryan Truckermiller, and I'm also a junior studying hospitality management here at Penn State. For this section of the podcast, I'm reporting from the Innovative Desk. Innovation is something that is always happening, so it's always interesting reading about new things that are happening in the world, especially when it comes to human resources and stuff like that. Nicole,
Hey everyone, it's Nicole here, and I'm also a junior majoring in hospitality management. I'll be talking from the Here's Something Cool desk. I chose this desk so I can show some insight on topics that I found to be cool and interesting in relation to HR. Now I'm going to pass it off to our other Ryan.
Hey guys, my name is Ryan Kim, and I am a junior majoring in professional golf management. I'll be talking from the Here's Something Everyone Should Care About desk. The reason I chose this desk was because I think there are changes we still need to address regarding problems in the work industry, and in order to do that, we need to explain why this is important and why everyone should care about it. I'll be passing it off to Renelle now.
Thanks, Ryan. Hi, everyone. My name is Renelle, and I'm a junior majoring in hospitality management with a minor in food systems. I'll be talking from the platform Here's Something Everyone Should Know About desk. I chose to speak on this particular desk because there's a multitude of baseline information that the consumer to customer should know about in their workplace. Now to Kevin.
Thanks, Renelle. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin McCarthy. I'm a senior double majoring in professional golf management and economics. I will be presenting from the Here's Something to Think About desk, and this desk kind of caught my eye because I enjoy presenting new ideas to solve problems efficiently and making sure we're all thinking about things from all different perspectives. Now I'm going to pass it to Sammy, who will kick off our article review section of the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin, for introducing yourself. So I'm Sammy, again, as you guys know, and I'm reporting to you from the Here's Something Important desk. And the article that I would like to talk about today is titled Supreme Court Rules for Gay and Transgender Rights in the Workplace, which I found in the Wall Street Journal. And to kind of give a brief summary about the article, Supreme Court justices felt that it was pretty clear why discriminating people based on their sexual orientation should be illegal in the workplace. And we actually learned about this in class, that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Title VII, which was what the court decision was based off of. And as we learned about in class, Title VII does forbid workplace discrimination against an individual because of their sex. And of course, the ruling was kind of, there was backlash against it. But one of the main justices on this case did write, an individual's employee's sex is not relevant to the selection, evaluation, or compensation of employees. And I think that for many years that the LGBTQ plus community has obviously been discriminated against. And so this is definitely like a huge victory for everyone all over the country who have really fought hard for these equal rights. And I did really think this article was kind of perfect for this segment because it really discussed and combined everything that we learned about in class regarding discrimination and Title VII with the LGBTQ community. And I really think that this was just an amazing victory and gives me hope for the future of equality in the workplace. And now I'm going to pass it off to Ryan so he can kind of describe to you about his article.
Thank you, Sammy, for talking On a topic that's so relevant in today's society. The rights of the LGBT community are definitely a consistent topic of conversation in the workplace and are very important, very, very important in today's world. Again, I'm Ryan Truckermiller, back at it again, reporting from the Innovative Desk. The article I'm going to talk about is titled The Future of User Experience Design Starts with AI, written by FascoWorks. This article talks about how many companies are still trying a one-size-fits-all approach to their marketing, and one size just simply is not fitting all at this point in time. Adding artificial intelligence, or AI, to some company strategies has already shown results of multiple sizes working for different companies. Salesforce, a software company in San Francisco, has added AI to their business and has yielded that customers that look for different things when shopping are seeing two different websites. Two people that are shopping for shoes on the same website may see two completely different designs tailored to them, and then two people that are shopping, or no, not two people. Someone that can be focused on bargains will see pages emphasizing price over value rather than seeing things such as low to high and all that kind of stuff. Adding AI to change the shopping experience is a change that I see becoming a lot more widely accepted and should be more widely accepted, considering that this article is showing these innovative results being implemented in today's society. So now I'm going to pass the metaphorical microphone over to Nicole.
Thank you, Ryan, so much for sharing. I do agree with you that the one size fits all approach does not work for everyone. Adding AI has definitely proven to be beneficial for different companies, such as Salesforce. So here's my take on the Here's Something Cool desk in regards to the article. Humor is such an important leadership trait. We teach it at Stanford Business School. So humor has been shown to be such a benefit in relation to an employee's mental and physical health and even the company's bottom line. In this article, researcher Wayne Decker was able to find that managers with a sense of humor have been rated 23% more respected and 25% more pleasant to work with. There is evidence to prove that team or coworkers that laugh together definitely perform better together. Also, in a study of over 50 team recorded meetings, teams that had humor demonstrated better communication, problem solving within the meeting, and humor is such an essential tool. It allows people to relax, access higher order thinking, and create a safe place to share creative ideas. Reorienting towards humor is a fundamentally profitable enterprise. Employees who rated their leaders to have any sense of humor at all are 15% more satisfied with their jobs and rate their leaders at 27% more motivating. As a last note, President Dwight Eisenhower once said, "A sense of humor is part of the art of leadership, of getting along with people, of getting things done." Thanks so much for listening, and now I'm going to pass it off to Ryan.
Cool. I thought that was a very cool and interesting topic. It's pretty crazy how important humor is in any kind of industry when making relationships, and the facts you have provided us show that it really does affect businesses. Carrying on to my topic again, it's Ryan reporting from the Here's Something Everyone Should Care About desk. The article I chose for this desk is titled More Men Say They Are Uncomfortable Interacting with Women at Work, and it is written by Kathy Gerchik. Similar to how it's expressed in the article, it says that just by recruiting a woman in the present day and age, there will be constantly be an obscured danger. A model they gave was imagine a scenario where she misinterpreted something he said. These men who have taken these reviews would prefer not to risk experiencing any kind of difficulty with the opposite sex. This article additionally states why it's so significant for men to tutor and help women in the work environment. In our current reality, where imbalance of power still remains, women need the help of men to progress in their profession or working environment. This article additionally states why we need more women to rise in their careers, as it can help diversity and generally help organizations perform at the highest level. Now I'll be passing it off to Renelle for her topic.
Thanks, Ryan, for sharing. I agree with your desk. It is important that both genders are present in the workforce to allow gender inclusivity and to minimize gender stereotypes. Again, I am Renelle, and I will be reporting from the Here's Something Everyone Should Know desk. The article that I will be reporting on is titled Workplace Diversity, What Companies Need to Get Right Now, written by Forbes. In this article, McArthur takes a deeper and concise look into 6 essential steps that should take place within the workplace to maintain and tackle diversity. The 6 steps were: number 1, embrace that this is a critical business mission. 2, be authentic, transparent, and accountable. 3, create a safe space for all employees to give feedback. 4, take tangible and tackable actions. 5, tackle the low-hanging fruit, and 6, educate the personal capability and accountability. When overviewing and looking at these 6 steps, we can see how many of these viable steps are missed in the workplace and even in recent movements abroad and stateside. Diversity has been shown and been proven through various studies that it improves employee retention and reduces employee turnover. In a diverse and safe workplace, employees are more likely to remain loyal if they feel respected and valued. It is imperative that all employees and consumers are aware of how to tackle the workplace diversity and racism. I now challenge you to implement these in your everyday work tasks. Back to Kevin.
Thanks, Renelle. I think you do bring up a very good point, and MacArthur does bring up some very good steps to doing to tackling workplace diversity. So I'll be talking about from the Something to Think About desk, and the article I chose was titled "What the Numbers Tell Us About the Current State of the Workforce," written in December from the Wall Street Journal. And this pretty much gives us a description of kind of how the workplace has transformed since COVID, and kind of focuses on office culture and like diversity needs, lost jobs, kind of the state of remote working, and how employees and employers are kind of dealing with it all. And so then I kind of just pulled a few stats from each section, and because I found them pretty interesting. So this survey was conducted on 330 HR leaders. So the first one was within the office culture. 47% of leaders reported an increase in productivity. 13% uh, uh, 13 reported a decrease, which I found pretty interesting because working from home is definitely not ideal for anyone in any job. So that was pretty cool. Diversity needs, it talks a lot about how companies say the correct things, but kind of don't really do that, and like don't act upon their words, which is definitely kind of a prominent issue in today's world within the workforce and just within in general. And then kind of talked about the unemployment rate and how the pandemic caused a shock to unemployment when we were at an all-time low of 3.8% in February. And then a couple months later, we're at 13%, which, and a third of companies in America deferred pay increases and bonuses to workers. So that really dampened the mood in the workforce for most people, and was definitely just hard on all employees across the nation. And so pretty much all of these factors have caused workers to be on edge at all times, making them nervous about job security. And more companies have actually reported a lot more mental health issues and are actually discussing discounts within like mental health services for employees, just to kind of combat all the stress and things that employees are dealing with within the pandemic and COVID. And now I'm going to pass it back to Ryan.
As you've heard from all of our guests, we have all noticed that change is constantly happening within the workplace due to the barriers we face in these unprecedented times. Next, we're moving on to the hot topics section, and Nicole will start us off with.
Hey everyone, it's Nicole again, and I'm going to be your co-facilitator for the Alrighty Roos hot topic, which is tattoos in the workplace.
Thanks, Nicole. Hi, everyone. It's Renelle again. Throughout this podcast, I'll be alongside Nicole facilitating the professional conversation about tattoos. The two teams will be Sammy and Ryan T, followed by Ryan K and Kevin to speak about each side of the argument.
Tattoos in the workplace has a controversial reputation and is seen as inappropriate in the workplace largely because they have been associated with criminal activity. However, as more tattooed people enter the workforce, many employers don't think tattoos are as important. Many companies have policies that do not allow visible tattoos or piercings because they can be unprofessional and hurt the image of the company.
Ryan and Kevin, can you please talk about side one, which is a bias against tattoos?
Yeah, so I'm going to start us off here. So I think physical appearance does matter, and kind of we're going to be justifying why employees have biases against them, or employers have biases against them. So it kind of companies are trying to build reputations and brands, and sometimes they don't want their workers to represent that brand in that way, and they kind of know their target market, so they're trying to cater to those wants and needs of their customers. And so I think that this bias is happening because they're not as prevalent in the older generations as they are in the young. And according to this article that I read about tattoos and what are an applicant's tattoos telling potential employees, the study concluded that only 3 in 10 American adults have at least one tattoo. 47% of millennials have tattoos, 36% of Gen X, and only 13% of baby boomers. And so they've been a very controversial topic in today's society, especially in the work industry. And so the older generation is more likely to have biases against them because they just don't have as many. So, and it's kind of the view of them has shifted since the times we live in. And while it's not all true today, when you're raised with these kind of like beliefs and stigmas against them, it's pretty hard to eradicate these biases that they have against them. And so if a research does say customers don't want to deal with or like purchase from a person with a tattoo, they need to match that preference of their customers and kind of just do what the business needs and kind of think about that. And so I'm going to pass it to Ryan, who's going to bring some more facts to it.
Yeah, so what Kevin's been saying, the main issue with tattoos is with the older generation. These people have been living in a generation where, tattoos were basically forbidden because they were seen as rebellious. And, I feel like when these types of people have their viewpoints set up, it's going to be hard to change their minds on it. Um, Also, tattoos have always been, seen as irresponsible. I found a study done in 2016 saying that, tattooed applicants were rated significantly less hireable for customer facing jobs. Also, when I was researching the web on this specific topic, I found a study saying that it was found that consumers perceived visible tattoos to be inappropriate in white collar professions, but not in blue collar ones. So I feel like definitely depending on the job you're looking for, you have a 50-50 chance if tattoos are allowed, which is pretty crazy because tattoos were definitely not allowed in any industry 10 to 15 years ago.
Thanks, Ryan and Kevin. You both present very interesting viewpoints and visions of tattoos in the workplace. Even though tattoos can be controversial when it comes to professionalism in the workplace, it's essential that viewpoints evolve and stay modern in current society. Now to Ryan and Sammy with an example.
Tattoos are something that are showing up more in the workplace, and one thing that comes to mind with this issue is the fact that people assume someone is a bad employee based on what's on their body. The never judge a book by its cover motto really takes shape with this issue. One thing that comes to mind with this issue is that everybody is tattooed. And I think that the one thing that comes into this is that tattoos in the workplace are coming from past stereotypes, like I was saying before. Tattoos have been associated with rebellion, criminal activity, and gang membership for a while. And that was back in like the early 90s when the tattoo boom was really happening in today's society. Or not today's society, and that society. Times have changed and the issues surrounding tattoos has also evolved. They've begun to take the shape of body art rather than just tattoos. And because it's now being seen as body art, it is being seen as it's more accepting because people are doing it as a form of personal expression, much like they do with clothing, jewelry, and hairstyles. And because tattoos are now more of a form of expression, there usually is more of a meaning behind it. Having tattoos is much more common now than before, and it should be more acceptable in the workplace because you don't take into effect the personal meaning behind a tattoo all the time. I have a tattoo on my forearm, and that has nothing to do with how much of a good or bad employee I am. It ultimately is up to the manager's decision, though. However, I do challenge these managers to break the stigmatism that is already there. And because tattoos are becoming more and more accepted in society, I know I sound like a broken record saying that over and over again. It should be more accepted in the workplace too, especially the common workplaces such as like fast food restaurants and other things of that sort. So now I'm gonna head back over to Sammy to finish out this discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. I think that you definitely make a good point. That tattoos are for sure becoming more and more popular. Obviously, within the workplace, and employers have definitely started to notice that, which is obviously a good thing. And the first argument that I kind of wanted to touch upon was not hiring someone with a tattoo could potentially harm your image as an employer. And this is because if you um, choose not to hire someone with a tattoo, that just looks bad on you as a manager because you don't know who this person is. They could be an amazing employee and you just chose not to hire them because they have a tattoo. Like that's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. And also kind of to add on to that, if you do have workers with tattoos, not only will that foster an environment of acceptance for the workers themselves? But it also could foster an environment of acceptance for the customers as well, because obviously, if a customer comes in and they see someone who also has a tattoo just like them, it could definitely kind of spark conversation, and even just kind of, as I said before, foster an environment of acceptance for everyone in that situation. And I kind of wanted to also talk about an article that I read titled Argument in the Office, Tattoos in the Workplace. And a quote that really stood out to me, kind of emphasizing my point before about a manager like not hiring someone with tattoos, is that hiring managers who discriminate against job candidates with tattoos may be settling for a less qualified pool of applicants, because there is a growing population of people with tattoos among the younger generation. In fact, 1 in 3. A manager who will only consider applicants without tattoos is decreasing the pool of candidates by more than 30%. And as Ryan kind of talked to you guys before, that clearly tattoos are becoming more and more popular, as we both said. So if you do, as a manager, choose to discriminate against people with tattoos, you're pretty much cutting out a third of your applicant pool, and you could absolutely potentially be missing out on someone who, an amazing employee that you don't even know, just because they have a tattoo and you're choosing not to hire them. So I think that's a really, really important thing to consider as a manager. Ultimately, though, as an employer, you do have the option to decide what is appropriate and what is not for your workplace. But when it does come down to it, you absolutely want the most qualified person for the job, whether or not they have body art. And I think that's just the main point of what I was trying to say. It really shouldn't matter if you have a tattoo or if you don't. It's really the work ethic and how hard you work and how professional you are. That should really be decided on, and the skills you have, not really what you have on your body. So now I'm going to pass it back to Nicole, who's going to kind of conclude this discussion for us.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for sharing and educating us all on the two debated sides on having tattoos in the workplace. Moving on to the next and final section of our podcast, which is the real world perspective, where we will ask some questions about HR issues with an alumni and hear real world situations. I'm going to hand it off to Sammy, who will kick off our last section of the podcast.
Hi everyone, we are the group Alrighty Roos, and we wanted to welcome you and thank you for taking the time to speak with us and answer any questions we have for you today. My name is Samantha Comito, and I am a junior studying hospitality management. And to give a little background, this is the real world perspective portion of the podcast that we're doing. And here we're interviewing individuals working in the hospitality field to get insight on kind of different aspects and depths of the human resources in the workforce. So Ryan, do you want to introduce our guest for today?
I'd love to. My name is Ryan Truckermiller, and I'm also a junior studying hospitality management. I am happy to introduce our guest, Ms. Shatisha Diggs. While studying here at Penn State, she interned as a banquet server at the Penn State Conference Center Hotel and State College, as well as participated in the Step Up to Leadership program with Aramark. And with that internship, she helped book client catering orders, designed a project to help improve labor projections for the upcoming season, and many other great things throughout this program. After graduating from Penn State in 2015, she joined Aramark's Accelerate to Leadership program, and currently she is working at Citi Field in New York City as the Delta Club manager.
Thank you, Ryan, for introducing our guests. My name is Nicole Kaplun, and I'm also a junior studying hospitality. My group and I have a few questions that we'd like to ask you about some HR issues that we believe are present in today's workplace.
So during these difficult times, what do you think is like the best way to make work fun for employees?
I would definitely say first and foremost is just everyone is experiencing and dealing with the same thing. So one, just expressing the importance of safety first. And I think when we prioritize that and let people know that, hey, like we genuinely care about your health and your well-being, I think they feel that, and they feel like when there is a lack, when we don't respond in that way first. So what we've been doing is we've been trying to just make safety fun and also making it a part of like the daily conversation. Like we all have to adapt to these changes with us being back here at work. And, I think educating and trying to engage them into like why we're doing these things has really kind of helped us kind of bridge that gap with all of the changes with COVID.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that first of all you're back at work, and I think that's a good thing that they're making safety the priority, obviously, especially since you're in person. Thank you so much. Now I'm gonna let Ryan ask his question.
All right, so mine goes in another direction, more along the lines of like hiring and then creating a great workplace, like so that employees all mesh well. So, what do you think the biggest hiring mistakes have been that you've seen, and how do you think companies can do a better job of hiring employees who fit well together?
Really say some hiring mistakes that we've seen is one, just poor planning. Um, when you're not when you don't plan well with what your needs are, you can really set yourself up for failure very quickly. And I think we forget often like how much planning goes into hiring. Like one season I recall, like with recruiting, we waited too long, or rather too late, to begin like the recruiting process. And I know we was another season where we were kind of stuck in the same ways of recruiting, and we had to kind of open up our eyes of, okay, we can't recruit the same ways that we do in the past and expect to see different results. So I think once we kind of opened up our minds to say like, okay, let's broaden our scope of where we're recruiting, how we're recruiting, and then how soon do we start recruiting. And I think we started to see that we got a lot more traction. And then we were able to adjust to say like, okay, going to this career fair doesn't work for us, or going to, partnering with this youth group doesn't work for us. And we were able to adapt. So I definitely would just say proper planning is truly, it will be the biggest mistake if it's done poorly.
That was really insightful on the answer I was looking for.
What do you think motivates employees to perform and stay for like a long period of time, or just to perform well in general?
Honestly, I think it all just boils down to how you treat your employees. And I think that one thing that I noticed when I first came here is, I was looking to learn a lot. And because I was looking to learn a lot, I had to rely heavily on the employees to gain a lot of the knowledge that I know now, because a lot of these employees, they've been here for multiple seasons, and they've seen a lot of, managers, they've seen a lot of things, and they actually hold a lot of knowledge. So I know when I came into my position, one of the things that I've always put first and foremost is just respecting people. When you respect people and you show them, that you respect them. And I think it's just also too, just being genuine with them, genuine when you make mistakes, genuine when you don't know, genuine with following up with them, genuine with offering, information to them. They receive that. And then in return, it allows you to manage your operation a lot better, because they're willing to do things for you. Like they're willing to help you. They're willing to go the extra mile. They are more engaged because
it's the little things like that. Like you go to address something in